first and only known active Dominican female graffiti artist, muralist, illustrator, painter, graphic designer, makeup artist, a creative. She works in audio-visual production, customizes wearable pieces, and a whole lot more. Beya dedicates herself to projects that help empower the goddess vision and ways of the female on this planet.
Act because the song says this, so that doesn't make any sense, like if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense. So if you start look for your inner sense and for what you want to go for, then it just appears to your eyes as you walk through with every intentionated step. He's always like trying a good coffee, like
Yeah, listen, let me tell you something about me. This is why, for me, a good conversation is like a good book or a good movie.
Yeah.
When it holds you, it holds you.
Just having the full experience.
It's not gonna work out for me. I need it all. Saca la mierda ya.
That's gonna be your line. Saca la mierda ya. Saca la mierda ya.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yo, listen. No, you asking me.
Are we allowed to say mierda in this podcast?
It's up to you. This is your interview.
All right.
I'll edit it out if you want.
All right.
Because I know
Either
you're
way.
a very serious.
Oh no, but that's fine. Fun is part of the seriousness.
So I want to kind of navigate a little bit towards you as an artist. Okay?
All right.
We'll delve in and out of the pocket.
Yeah.
I'm random, so
It's all a flow. It's all a flow because one does the other one and the other one does the one. Because I am who I am, I can transmit it into my art. Because of my art, I can be seen as who I am. So it's in and out, in and out.
Así que hablar.
Yeah. La mimosa.
As an artist, I'm a poet. I think I've told you this, right? I'm a writer, so I can 100% understand where you're coming from, because I transmit my. It's all ebb and flow. Meaning it's not like one is separate from the other. It's life. We're inspired, and we're always artists. We're always creating. So I want to know a little bit about you, the artist. When did you kind of own yourself as an artist in public?
Last night.
Oh shit! So good timing by me. I caught you at the right time.
I was so ready to say that because there's always a process of liberation into how much are you able to give from yourself, and how could you have the power to explode that into the extent that you can without being depleted. So as an artist, before you do the jump, it's like, okay, so am I really jumping right now? And it's crazy because you keep having that feeling all the time when you are going to your biggest soul's purpose or your calling, or however you're winging life, or winging it as an artist. There's always the next step up if you're gonna, do it or not.
Right.
So, and in life, not only in art, in life in general, there's always like okay, so am I gonna do this? Am I really gonna buy this apartment right now? Am I really gonna do this? Like, pay that monthly that monthly payment, am I not, So, it's the jump in every sense. Everybody is an artist. As how I see it. It's just the level of skill that you have invest in yourself. Because everybody has it. ¿Quién no sabe dibujar cuando chiquito?
Let me tell you something. I didn't get past stick figures, all right? That's all I gotta say. I was still on stick figures.
But
I can't tell you it's perfect.
Music. But then you have music.
Right.
So it's a sense of art, because art is communicating.
Yes.
So It's just.
She's a Libra. Okay, Libra harmonize. They want to include the word. It's everybody. And I love that. Okay, because I'm like that. I'm selfish. You know, I like to. You know, sometimes you gotta be selfish. Selfish in your heart. You
Of course.
I mean, this is our stuff.
Some selfishness is for protection. Because if you don't have some level of selfishness,
yes,
you don't protect yourself.
Agreed. I love that.
Because yourself comes out of your solar plexus, which irradiates yourself from your stomach up. And when you are selfish, it comes from the solar plexus. So it's the balance of how much is this feeling right, how much is this feeling not right, and how do I use selfishness to protect who I am and how I give myself out, and how much of selfishness is too much, you know? The line.
No, that's very interesting because when I was younger, right, I took selfishness as a negative thing. Right? You know, you're selfish, you know, your kid go, you're selfish.
Right.
But there is something to be said about your own identity because everybody's not the same. So how do you build your identity? You got to know yourself. And that means being selfish about you, right? Spending your time with you.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Is that something you've done a lot in your life? That you spend a lot of time with yourself?
Same thing. I've been doing more conscious, let's say recently, but art has always been my time with myself, you know? So by choosing a lifestyle that would allow me to have that me time, como que made everything to have sense.
100%.
In a way.
I totally understand you. Believe it or not. What makes sense, what makes sense for me is my poetry. Right? When I write, the world makes sense for me. Okay? Because what happens is with our art is you don't have a lot of other people maybe around you that can understand what you're trying to express or the need to express. Everybody don't understand.
Yeah. Because the thing is
even
that...
our own parents. Parents probably think you're crazy.
Yeah.
My
My mom with my hair. Así no porque yo te crié, mi hija, por Dios.
Quítate. Yo estoy loco todavía. Coño, dame años, capaz. Give me something. They disown your ass. That's a Dominican thing. They will disown your ass in front of everybody. That's some shit look at me. Coño, what did you do?
That's only speaking about yourself. That's another thing. That if you don't know your kid, if you don't know what your kid is capable of, who is that person, then what are you saying about your own job as a parent? How did you communicate with that person that you don't know now? How is it that 10 years happen and you don't know who you're living with? Where are you? You know?
You know, okay, so it's not important if you tell me the age of your mom or dad, but what I do want to get across is, what I'm learning is there's a huge gap between our generation and their generation. Especially us that, even though you were born and raised in the Dominican Republic.
And it's been so fast. The jump.
Right.
At the same time. Because let's say you could have, let's say 50-something-year-old parent, as in my case, and I'm 27, like about to be 30. So it's a 20-something year difference. Right. And just in that amount of time, it's been such a huge mentality jump. You know?
That's a very good point. That's a huge point. This is what I'm saying. This is why I've learned to be a little more patient with myself and their generation, right? Because here's the reality. I live here. They were born over there. Even though you were born and raised over there, I feel like you have the pulse of both. You know, she doesn't strike me as Dominican, raised and born in Dominican Republic.
They're more ancestral to
our parents.
Our parents and their parents which were raised under the very, very Dominican traditions. You know, it's more like the campo mentality, or like the way of acting in a certain way that in the long run comes from ancestry. You know, that's ancestry, and who were the ones to start to break it is the generation of our parents that were breaking the generation of our grandparents. If you think how, imagine your grandmother telling you how she was raised. If you've ever heard any of those stories, it was a crazy thing.
Right, that's a
crazy thing that will get into serious physical body aggression, or like, you know, all kinds of things, all kinds of like child labor, child abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, child molesting, like anything. And it was huge, and it comes from the times that there was still like slavery in other places. So there and here, there were very heavy wounds, like ancestral wounds that were being carried generation from generation. So taking that backpack off and starting a new life in the world is a huge step to give, which is what our parents, and the little or much that they knew how to do, they cut into that. Because at the same time, we had internet, for example, they didn't. So they were kind of like doing the jump a little bit as we were, or just doing the platform so that we could jump, basically. Because they were the ones to put the world kind of like how it is right now, so that with the amount that they were able to achieve, even going to the freaking moon, then we can have that as a starting point to start all over, like clean energy, you know, like right now you can make diamonds out of toxic waste. And they already know how to do that. They already know how to make the energy of the whole world clean just by recycling the garbage that the other generation did. So how clean could things get? And that's going to happen on the diamond generation, which are the babies that are being born now, 2020 and on. Those are the diamond generation. So when they're like 30, 40, maybe, I don't know. But then we're going to have a much cleaner way of living, and more ¿cómo se dice? Like recycling the energy that is already available on the planet,
right,
and making it eco-friendly for our own existence. Because
I gotta say that's the reason why that makes sense to me is because if you think about it, life, we are always recycling, right? We die, we become soil. It goes right back into the earth. It creates life. Here comes a tree. Here comes blah, blah, blah. So nothing is wasted. Nothing. Even though it appears that way, it really isn't.
Yeah.
This is all from the earth to the earth. Now, you know, mankind has done a poor job in terms of pollution and shit like that. I get it, you know. But at the end of the day, like I'm saying, even death is not disposed and discarded forever. Where it's
at all.
It's used.
It's not. It's not at all. It's not disposed in the physical sense, and it's not disposed on the spiritual self, because neither are destroyed. You cannot destroy. Energy does not destroy. It only se regenera. La energía no se destruye, solo se transforma.
Yes.
So you can only transform energy. You go through from one plane to the other plane to the other plane, and you're a plant, and you're something, and on another universe, and you're something else. But it's the same energy, just living itself on many different realities. So that's not what I was going to say.
Okay. Hey, I'm glad you're remembering all this. Okay,
so... But the thing is that I forgot the other thing that I was going to say.
No, it's because of what I just said.
I can bring it back. What was the question?
No, shit. What was the question?
We don't even know anymore.
Oh, man. What was that? I don't even remember the original question. Do you remember the original question? No, sorry. No.
I'm getting everybody lost here. No, it's fine. It's fine.
I apologize.
But we were talking about the diamond generation, and then the clean, and then...
Yeah, so basically what I was saying, and this is not the question.
Oh, so I remember what I was going to say. So everything that we have, like, to close that up, anything that has been created, and I think I mentioned that to you when we talked, has been made out of things found on Earth. Like plastic, they didn't bring it from Mars or whatever. They created it with elements that were already and earth, like all of the metals that we use and all of the alchemy that is done, because it's just alchemy, continuing to mix things.
Right.
So anything that was made, it was just a mix of whatever elements that they found. So that could be, again, rebuilt into something else by alchemy, which is chemistry and the new name of alchemy, you know, chemistry and biochemistry.
I have another random question. Do you need to feel inspired or motivated to create your art?
100%.
Okay, so because see, you're a professional, you're an artist, right? People pay you to do murals. So let's say, for example, you don't like the aesthetics, right? You don't care for the wall that they gave you, or whatever that, I don't even know.
Yeah, I can't already explain the whole thing.
I'm not a thinker. I don't even know if this even makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense because they would look for a job and it's not something that you originally thought, like, oh, I want to sit and make this burger illustration, you know?
Right, okay.
Like, it's not like I initially felt like doing so. Right. But after you have it, it's like, how are you going to make that yours? So now it's you wanting to do this shit, you know? That's kind of like the approach that I take to it. And then I just try to stay fully open to inspiration. Like, once I have the task, it's like a leaf that I see could give me a shape that I'm gonna use or whatever. So I just try to keep on super open to suggestion in my environment.
Go ahead. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
So you guys who are listening and watching this, you guys weren't here, but the aesthetics that you see now is created by this woman and her friend who does not want to come on camera right now. But they did exactly what she just said right now. Which is you used your environment, right, and you made this a beauty. You made it.
Right.
You beautified.
Okay, like what's the task? Okay, that's the task. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. She rearranged this place, guys. Okay, she can do some inside decorating work in her lifetime if she wants to. Complete with a mural for apartments. Because
everything goes related because everything is shape and color and form and feeling. Everything is feeling. What's the feeling that I want to portray? So I want to portray a cozy conversation. I want to portray this or that. I want to portray movement on this wall. I want to portray, I don't know, laughter. So.
Yeah, you know what? Let me tell you something. This is what I actually told you this. You showed me a picture. It was a very small drawing.
Yeah.
Remember that? You pulled out it looked like a diary, but a very small diary.
We'll try to get a picture on the editing.
Yeah. She was flipping pages to show me like a lot of her art, right? And different stuff that she wrote, quotes, whatever. But she passed by the artwork fast. Like, I'm like, I need some time, Like
to process. I know. My brain goes too much.
What if I'm like, oh my God, and she's like, yeah, so this is newspaper here.
Encyclopedia.
But let me have the first one. So I say that because a lot of times it's important to have an objective point of view. You need to understand what you do with a perspective of another person outside of you. Because what happens is we take our art for granted.
Yeah.
So like you might do a thing that takes somebody 10 years to do in 5 minutes, right? So now you're like, oh, you're treating it like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it actually took me this amount of time to get here. So,
do you know where you got that from? Do you know that there's an artist, an actual painter that had a quote about that? Do you know?
There's a whole thing about it, and like artistry in general, and every category of it actually have the same motto. Because I'm not charging you $20,000 because of it's cute, Right. It's because I know every little thing that's there is supposed to be there. Right. I know how am I gonna make it, and if it takes me 5 minutes, it's because I practiced for 15 years,
That's right.
So
I'm gonna tell you a quick story. The name of the artist I'm going to tell you escapes me, so I'll probably edit it back in there, guys, so just bear with me. But there's this artist, famous artist in the town, right? He's the most famous, he's world renowned, okay? Like, you know him, he's one of the most studied artists in the world. Like, you would know the guy if I had a brain right now that I could remember. Man, we can't have everything.
We'll have it on the
editing.
We'll
figure it out. Okay. So the guy, so there's a person, a customer, he's in a restaurant, he's eating. Customer comes up to him and says, "Hey, can you draw me a picture? I'll pay you for it." And she goes, "Yeah, what do you want? Like, what do you whatever." Tells him in a napkin, figures it out. 5 minutes later, shows him the art. The person is blown away.
Oh yeah, I remember the story.
Okay, so now the person is ready to pay. So how much owe you? He owes $8,000. And ladies like your faces right now, like, what the hell are you? What?
Get on a napkin.
He said, "Yo, but it took you 5 minutes." I said, "Yeah, but it took me 30 years to get to these 5 minutes."
Yeah.
So when he said that, that struck to me as that's whoo. Because as an artist, it's like that is the most beautiful way to put something. When you practice something for so many years, yes, it's supposed to come a little easier to you because you put 30 years in, 50 years, 20 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and you probably did it every day, consciously and unconsciously.
Let me tell you something, and another thing why art I feel is so valuable, it's like the most valuable thing, is because you can learn the craft, but for you to be able to master the translation is a process.
What do you mean by the translation?
Because every art is a translation of your experience in the world, in life, into how you take things, how you view things, how you experience your own life. So whatever you put out into your art is your translation of your experience. So translating into meaning for someone else through your experience, that also involves an emotional process. More than mental, I think, because any type of art is very emotional. Like, you have to feel it, and then when you feel it, you need to translate it and make it readable. Make it digestible. Or if you don't want to make it digestible, then that's the purpose too. Not to be digestible, to break a brain or whatever. But that's also a purpose. So that's also translating.
Right. You're still communicating what your experience is.
Exactly.
Even if it's not digestible. Here's a funny part about it. The same artist that I do not know the name of was literally, he's the best artist. He's known, right? He's known, well renowned. But in the beginning, when he's putting his art, he would literally go to different bars. And he was like, "Can I set up my art here and sell it? Because you guys all love me, let me give me a space." He puts he uses the whole wall. The problem is, it's not digestible immediately. His art is a little violent. It's like, "Coño, pero we don't promote this in the bar." He's like, "But this is art. This is my art."
Right.
Like, I'm just an artist. I'm not telling nobody to kill somebody, but this is legit what the art is. And then when you said that, I'm saying, it's not about being liked by everyone, because art is it's what do they say? Art is
in the eye of the beholder.
There you go.
You cannot please everyone with what you do.
Right. When you're doing your art, let's say prior to prior to you getting paid for your art.
All right.
So let's say prior, and then tell me, is there a distinction in terms of the way you approach art from that part to this part?
Totally. So I started doing murals with graffiti. I was first learning how to tattoo, so from there I met all of the graffiti crew, and I was able to get into that world, which I admired and didn't even consider that I could be capable of, because my admiration for it was so greatly, So that was another jump of what we were talking before. A big jump. So, I keep forgetting the question.
No, that's okay. What I was asking you what's the difference
Oh yeah,
between
okay, yeah.
when you first started before you got paid versus
Right.
after you started getting paid?
So when I started going out to murals, we used to do like a Sunday, everybody will come out and paint, all of the graffiti artists. So by the time I was trying to be good at that category, so I was just, at that time, I was crafting myself into that art, or shaping my shapes into that style, translating my style into that style. And that was so bold and big and liberating, that I think it kind of started the shape of me as an artist, my artistry, and the big bold colors that I like, the big linings, the big, show of hair, whatever style as a whole. It came from that like urban side, and projects that I also have in mind go on that line as well. So that was before. At that time, we were not getting paid. We would actually buy paint or work to buy paint, and we would be asking for the walls. But it was so good. I feel so grateful that I was part of that, because I was able to live the last times of how graffiti felt in the art. It was like 2009, 2010 up to 2000 and maybe 13 that I painted, and then I would just paint one wall and another wall right like after that time. But I was like really young. I was 17, 18, 19, and then 20, and then I moved on to other things. So it was exploring the world and exploring the things that could be done. And this whole thing that I was doing was a secret. Like, my family didn't know that I was doing none of that I was going to Los Frailes, to this place, to this other place, with this gang of dudes, because I was the only female, still the only female graffiti artist in the art. It was amazing times. But then after that, everybody kept on growing into their art. Everybody, started graduating. Some of us went into another pursuits. So as it grew, the movement of muralism grew worldwide, where it started to be more accepted. Big companies were actually painting walls, so people were seeing that it was not really a crime. We actually study this. We go out, we buy our paint, we do this, but we actually study this. We would get into a room to everybody drawing. We would do competitions of like who had like more,
really
shit on their notebooks. It was a whole time and investment that you had to work towards that goal. And like everybody goes through that side on the graffiti life, when you're like the rookie learning and doing all of this, and now you're like, de lo viciado, tú sabes. But everybody goes through that phase, because like the phase where you are the rookie to the phase that you become the pro, you like music and you could be the rookie, and then you start to mimic Drake because you admire Drake, and then mira otro Drake ahí.
Right.
So at first, to be able to learn, you have to copy. Same thing with graffiti, like you had to like try to mimic a style of letters or something, or like the character designs, mimic somebody so that you could be cool. And then after that, then you learn the shapes, and then you make it yours. So it's there's a book that is called Roba como un artista. I think you have it in English still, like an artist. Roba como un artista. Have you heard it?
I have not.
But basically, it talks about how every big artist, every big made artist on every level that you want to analyze it from, had like a top 5 influential top people that they have in the industry to look up to, and to try to be at a level with your idol. Right. So when you try to not copy but be at the level of your idol, then you grow as an artist to maybe be in the level, you know, that you feel capable of. Because you see that you and that person, as we were saying before. So when you understand that you became the pro, and when you understand you already know what you're doing, and it's you, and it's your style, it's your word, it's your whatever you want to communicate, it's your true self that you already crafted into beauty, just crafting your true self into beauty, then that's when you're able to fully monetize. And I think that's when you divide rookie from pro, and doing it for just passion and doing it for, you know, as your lifestyle. This artist put a song recently, They Smoke, pretty sure.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
He has a line that says, "Yeah, I do it for love, but add a zero to that." I do this shit for love, but add a zero to that.
Wait. I need a moment. Let me go away.
You want some water?
No. I got enough. Listen, I got so much water here. We're gonna do this in the toilet. We're gonna do this in the toilet.
Got me.
So do you okay? Oh, I love that. This is music to my ears. You're speaking to the choir. You're singing to the choir. Is what we say over here. It's so okay. I'm gonna share a little bit of my experience. I want you to jump in with yours.
All right.
As a poet, I've been writing since I can remember. I've always written. Writing was something that I did daily, not because I was trying to be anything. I was just being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a part of me. It's like an extended arm. So now, like anything, the more you practice it, the better you get at it, right? So once upon a time, I sucked. Like you said, the rookie said, "Oh God, I don't know if I know how to put a sentence together." You know,
Yeah.
you know. But I loved it so much. I loved it so much. I was accepting of of sucking bad, but going through it and not stopping at suck. You know, like I was okay with, you know, one day that suck is gonna be great. So just give me some time.
I'm gonna tell you a line for that.
Go ahead.
What happens if you keep going? The fear disappears. Like when you feel like this is too much, what happens if you keep going? Where can you get to? If you walk past through fear. You know?
So now you're giving me the quotes. So now you're the quote. So now I need a new job. Thanks. No, but I love
I'm
that.
taking notes of what he's saying too. I'm taking notes. I'm gonna say that again.
I love that. Art, we inspire each other.
Yeah.
Like you, in conversation, you've inspired me, truth be told.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that because I'm a really firm believer that on this planet Earth, we need to give each other the flowers that we deserve. So a lot of times people praise someone in silence. You know, like that mural might have changed someone's life, but they won't tell you because pride or something like that. I mean, I gotta come behind and give you a hug because you deserve that. You've earned that.
You post a picture, you see the interactions, 1,785, and then you have 80 likes. You know?
That's a great point.
So
and then the comments were, how many comments of that?
Yeah, you know.
So it's even less than that.
But still, you do it for the ones who see it or the ones who are meant to see it in the moment, and every piece is moved accordingly to divine plan or the divine.
Say it again. Divine what? What was the last word?
The divine. Divine's plan, I said.
Divine's plan. I'm sorry. That's the one I couldn't.
Yeah.
No, but that's awesome and that's beautiful. All right, I want to walk into. Understand with this next question. I'm from New York, right?
All right.
I was born and raised, but I'm Dominican as well. My parents are from there. But my perspective comes from here. So understand this next question. So my thinking, because of what I know of Dominican Republic, right, in terms of the people, the culture, right, being of it, I want to say that it's in comparison to the United States, it's not como tan desarrollada.
Right, of course, we're a third world country.
is not as expansive or open-minded, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'll say this because graffiti here in the 80s and 90s was something very, very frowned upon. La gente de la policía will arrest you before you even think about spraying a building, right?
Yeah.
And it was happening daily. A lot of my friends were graffiti artists, but they would tell me the stories. They would come out to the neighborhood, ya tú sabes, bebiendo y, oh my God, I did this and that, y la mierda, coño, mejor tú, you know, but I'm living
the real. That's the ignition point of graffiti. It's the thrill. It's like, oh, fulanito did it there, so I need to go bolder. I need to go crazier. Like, oh, I passed through the bridge and there was fulanito on the bridge. How did he get there? What time? How he did it? Now I need to cover him up. Right. And now we have a war. And now he did this shit. And now we need to come up with the whole team. And like, you know, it's a whole another conversation, because it's a conversation on the walls that nobody understands but the reader, you know. And before I got into graffiti, I already knew all of the tags of my city, and I knew everybody by tags, and I was like, what does it say? What does it say? And then I met the people that put me on, and then I'm like, oh, this is full, and I'm like, I know you from the streets, you know. I was such an admirer of the art, you know. So there is a hype into the graffiti world, which now that is so open, it's not so much like before, because before was like a real war, and it felt like more serious, you know, like the thrill was bigger than now. But as I said, I'm super glad that I was able to live at least through like the last times of those times, so I was able to do the transition, because I saw my friends getting into police cars because of what we were doing, you know. So it's been a fast transition, and I'm super happy that it's being now uplifted to, okay, esto no es una loquera. They're not just doing whatever shit. This is not meaning that they're doing gang. It's not gang.
Right.
It's a visual war, you know. Right. It's not ganging, not smuggling, not nothing. We're buying paint and we're having a war and walls.
I love that.
You know.
Okay, so this is where my head, it doesn't fit for me for DR. Because again, I told you over here, ya tú sabes, la policía loca.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me, was it a very, very difficult thing to live out your art in public as a graffiti artist? Tell me that example, because I think you could understand how hard it was. I understand it's hard, you were telling me, but is it something that kind of was like, I gotta stop this because I'm gonna end up in jail kind of serious? Or you were like, no, enough for it, we're gonna figure it out?
Yeah. I felt positive about it, first of all, because they wouldn't do nothing too serious to the kids. You know, they would get right out. Also, for being a female, I have to, you know, say they're not going to be as rough as they could be with a male.
That's a great point.
So that was a little grace that I had there. And they never came to me either. When they were coming to us, the guys would come up and talk, or, you know, I never felt in threat, or, oh, I have to leave this because I'm in danger. And also, I didn't come out at night or like crazy hours. I would come out on a Sunday morning, you know, or like in the afternoon, where I was never in that super dangerous times, because I was still a teenager. I was still guarded. So I have to be grateful for everything, because everything happens the way that it had to happen, just for me to have the experience of without the big dangers that the guys would want to take, you know.
I love that, and I want to say thank you for being honest, because there's no shame in using your privilege, which I think you're using the privilege of being a woman in this sense, in those spaces. Right. Right. It's a power, and I want to thank you for being honest about that, because it's important that we communicate what we have. Now, the experience of a man might be different than the experience of a woman. That's what I'm trying to get at. I want to understand. So over here, this is something that was stuck in my brain. You see how you're saying it's thrilling every time you do it? You see this guy, he does it here. Okay. Yeah. So a lot back in the day here in the train stations, right? If you go on, there would be like a a train that's outside, and you can see the train, right?
Of course.
There would be art, like literally
outside,
on top, but like in a place where I'm like, oh God.
Oh, I can explain.
How you got it?
I can explain. What you do is you go to the terminals when they're closed.
Okay.
At night, from like 2 in the morning to 4 in the morning, and then you paint really fast when the train is stopped. Or you could also have like 10 friends, and when the train gets to the station and closes, you all mark at the same time the big word, and then you all fill up just the space, and then the train goes and it's all done.
Yo,
that's the way you do it.
Wait, that's what I said. I'm so glad I asked that question.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I never knew that.
I've always had that question too.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yo, it was like, what the hell is people doing? What? First of all, okay, let me say in New York. Okay, first of all, 2 to 4 a.m. Hell no. That's number one. 2, rats. Hello, people. I
had a situation with a rat yesterday.
There's a rat this big waiting for you right now.
Oh my God, there was a rat that...
What? Exactly. Smoking a cigarette.
What's up, buddy? This is my side. This is my side, buddy. Okay,
oh,
it's
that's
my
my
side.
cheese. That's my cheese. Don't touch. You were gonna say
that I had a situation with a rat last night. I was painting and I was hearing a sound in the background. I'm like, oh my God, there's steps. There's like a dead person in here. Because I was alone and it was like 2 in the morning. And I go to the bag because I thought it was like a fan hitting the bag. I pick up the bag. There was a rat. Like.
What did you do? Tell me exactly.
I was like,
okay.
And the rat ran away. I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. I got the full New York experience now.
You know what? Let me just say this, man. This came across when I first met you. So, as an artist, a lot of my artist colleagues hide behind their art. You know, like if you're great in art, you're not vulnerable in real life because you're behind your art. Like if you have a great song, you don't have to be more. It's my great song. Yeah, I'm good. That's it. You don't have to give more. You see, when you have this, right? It's like. And it's a facade, right? It's like that's not okay. I'm not saying that that's not you, but there's more to you. Does that make sense?
Of course.
You know, your one painting made you have a long way to go. Your imagination is not one.
Right.
Is that what I'm saying?
It's infinite.
That's it. Okay. So, but I think what works for you is that you're just being, and that's this is what I was trying to get when I first started here. There's no rehearsal for that. There's nothing you can try, but that's forced. Yeah. And there's nothing more powerful than truth, right? Truth is felt. Whether you agree or not is not the point. It's felt though. Does that make sense? It's like Gonya. You know, he can be an asshole, but that's his truth. But at least you felt it. You know, like that's an asshole. But that's truth. Now if he's lying, he's like, oh my God, can I get your coffee? I'm like, you don't talk like that. You do not talk like that. You go home like, fuck.
You know, relating to rehearsing yourself, I realized something just on this last wall. Because sometimes you're trying to figure out so much what you're going to do to the wall just so that it could be perfect. You know, how could I make it the best? And then when you are at the wall and at the place, you understand that you need to do something different, or you're called to do something different, and at the end it comes out better than what you were like overthinking about.
Yes.
So when you just are natural and flow to your artistic instincts into the life action, there's also such a magic to that you could not like plan to draw, you know.
I want to say something, and this is contradictory to who I am as a poet, right? Sometimes art leaves you speechless because you're in awe. There's nothing to say. You're frozen, right? For me, that's bad because I need words because I'm trying to sell you my work.
Yeah.
Right? But the reality is there's not, you can't sum that. It's not to be summed up. It's not to be defined even.
Because the thing is that to be able to fully communicate what you want to communicate, you need to have a full art experience, because you could transmit a feeling better sometimes with a sound than with a word. You can transmit it better with a color and a shape and something, than with a sound. For example, like I could probably express you fear in color better than I can express you fear in sound, or I can maybe express sadness better in sound than I can even express in words, because a sad sound would vibrate some cells in you that would make you feel it in your spine, so as a full spectrum of what you want to portray, I guess you could also give you the freedom as an artist to play with the things that you actually know how to play with, and then you're not maybe fully touching because you're not so experienced on that. So I say it, and I say it for myself and for you and for anybody listening to, because I've been trying to let go of all of those restrictions of like, oh, I'm a muralist or I'm a designer or whatever. Like, I really feel like I could touch any part to portray what I want to portray,
As an artist, or
exactly, as an artist, and even considering music. So I'm so open to what I want to create next,
Are you an artist by chance? Because I went on your page and I listened to some songs, but sounded like
that's my boyfriend.
Okay, so but are you a musician or artist or something like that?
I don't know how to sing.
Okay.
I've never been like into singing lessons. I do love singing.
Like you said,
you know what I mean?
Listen,
I can't sing, but I like doing it.
Listen. As long as someone else believes that you're a good singer, you're a business girl.
I know. I'm gonna make a master in
So
business when I come back.
Te creemos, keep going.
But I am working on.
Just keep going.
Oh my God! I'm working on his music project as a partnership when it comes to the business part, with his artistry in the visual line, and he's in charge of the musical line of it. So it's a very, very, very good project that we're putting on. His music is very good, and she had a taste, ahorita.
I heard the speaking of J. Cole, this is why everything's connected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he has that come through and chill in Spanish.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he has come through and chill in Spanish.
In Spanish. I just heard it this morning. I was like,
yeah.
J. Cole anything, so he's on
Oh my
Come
God.
Through Chills with Miguel and J. Cole. I recommend it. I love the song, but
I did the artwork.
Oh, did you?
I do all of his artworks so far.
He was wearing a jean jacket.
I painted that.
What is that in the back? I didn't make it too much.
It's his logo. It's a logo that we.
Oh, that logo you did that?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk, honey. Shit, we gotta talk. That was awesome.
The logo, the shirt, the picture, the editing, the everything.
Is he exhibiting that? Like, does he exhibit that, like, to showcase, maybe to sell them as merch?
I do have that idea, and we've talked, as a matter of fact, for him to be kind of like one of my ambassadors of the brand into promoting the jackets and stuff. So we have a whole project view into how to integrate my project into his project into my project, with some audio that he's gonna make for some visuals that I'm gonna make. So like we work on the visuals, the videos, the audio, the esto, del otro. So it's like a whole little company.
That's awesome.
Company partnership type. So yeah, there's a lot to come in every sense of the way.
That's beautiful, and that's actually I was gonna lead into that question because one thing I've learned as an artist is we're not great at promoting ourselves in terms of like what we got going on. I think it's just because we're lost in the actual sauce of the art creation, versus promoting of the art.
Yeah, let me tell you something about that. I'm at the point that I even need help for people to like put together the PDF files that I need to deliver. Like I need somebody to handle the dirty work, because when you're an artist, like for example, the big artists, they sometimes don't even have time to sit and like make a concept for the whole video. There's a team of creators that listen to the song, make the concept, and you can delegate functions, because when sometimes you're so focused into creating the gem, it's like somebody needs to promote the gem. In my case, I graduated from marketing, so everything is connected. I also studied fashion design, so it's right now I'm just connecting the dots of how to make the empire work, and how I make my team into all of the things that I am sewing into making.
That is awesome.
So sometimes you need to have like a friend that is a graphic designer, or a friend that could manage the audios for you, and like, okay, mira, edítame este video, we're gonna work it out, whatever, and then you have more time to record if somebody's helping you with the editing, for example, and then you have, more time to flow or whatever. It's just, if you create your working structure, then everything could go easily, because uno se pone, al principio uno tiene que hacer todas las funciones. Tú eres el conserje, el que habla, el que limpia, el que... I do all of my stuff myself too. I record myself, I do the editing, I do everything. But I know it's going to get to the point that all of those functions are going to be done by somebody else. So this process helps me create the vision to what I want to portray by learning how to do it myself, by learning how to do 3D in a video, like, okay, I know that if you manage that program, I can tell you, okay, you drop a layer, do that, I want you to do it this way, whatever. Like, I need to know what you're going to do with my artwork, so that I can manage how you're going to make my vision come through the best possible. So I have to do the dirty work first, so that I know what you're going to do after. So everything is actually part of the process of, going to the point that goes to the other point.
Yes,
that's not the final point either.
I want to share a quick story, and you guys let me know when it feels right for you. I don't want to prolong you in case you guys have things, but let me just say this quick story.
All right.
One of the reasons for the birth of what you see here is because I'm a poet, right? So I was doing a lot of poetry videos, but I would hire videographers, right? So I'd hire you, you come in. The problem I have is I like to be, you see how you do? I'm in control. This is my baby.
Right, of course.
This is my baby, and I want this to be the best example or expression that I have for the world. So
this is part of the blooper.
Yeah, this is good.
So you
Yeah, I love that. This is so funny.
So you were saying that you were hiring a videographer.
Let me tell you something real quick. Right? When I was a kid, people find me funny. I tell jokes, right? The reason I'm not a comedian is because I laugh at my own shit. And I keep laughing, and people need more jokes. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can't. I'm dying over here. Like,
hate that when you're retelling a joke and you're just like cracking up and it's not
You
funny.
haven't even said anything.
That happens to me all the time.
Because the thing is that maybe you're very visual with it.
Yes.
When you say it, you imagine it in your head playing. So as you see it, it's funny, and then people don't see what you see, so it's not as funny.
You're like out of breath.
That happens to me all of the time. I can't get a story out. I can't do it.
That means you can draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have the vision.
Bueno. Si tú me sacas eso de mí, draw.
It's just it's a translation process, and you can make the translation easy too. Like, you don't have to be on nobody else's style, as long as you put it out on the way that you can do it, and it's easy for you, that's your style,
Okay, let me just say this. I don't know if it's the same thing. I like coloring. It gave me therapy. I'm gonna tell you why I did that. I used to work in the same job she did. So I found coloring books to be therapeutic for me when I was stressed out. They're recommended, by the way. I would take they coloring.
That's actually a
coloring
thing.
in the line focused me away from the chaos. Because I was stressed out daily.
You know what that is? That's grounding.
Yes.
That's like a grounding meditation because it brings you into the moment to the point of attention of a little piece of not something that has no importance. And they're like, this is the most important thing in my life right now, and I cannot salir de esta línea.
Yes.
And then that was the mantra of like, okay, I'm grounded.
Yes.
You know? That's what it is.
Oh my God, you're a therapist. Like, you don't even know you're a therapist.
Seriously.
She's a therapist. You have therapy in you. Because I told her, when I was having a conversation, I said, this is therapy for me. I don't know if you
remember.
Okay, and that's what it's, listen, you get it how you get it, right? Life is happening. Sometimes you get stressed, sometimes you get therapy. You know what I mean? And so you gotta take it how it comes. So I appreciate
It's the work. It's the work.
She's very soothing.
Yes, that's a beautiful.
Like her voice is so like.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Peace.
Oh,
This
it's
friendship's
so
gonna
cute.
last a long time.
I'd be doing that a lot too.
You do, but you have to know because this is what that's what
Yeah, you see, now you guys are reading me.
That's our turn.
Okay, girl, so we've analyzed this amount. Okay, you do this every 2 minutes, so I think you are an empath.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
do you know I learned that word last year? And see, I didn't break the word down. Empath, empathy, I just didn't know. Look, I'm smart, but I guess I don't have it all.
Sometimes it doesn't click.
I didn't have it all figured out. But, okay, so empath is the root word for empathy.
Yeah, empathetic, yeah.
So at the time, the word empath was brand new for me. Like, I don't know what the hell. So what happened was I was interviewing a comedian, right? And she used the word, she said, you're an empath. She mentioned it 3 times. Now, I try to go with the flow because I'm like, I don't want to tell her I don't know what because I don't feel comfortable yet, like I'm like, okay, I hope it's good.
Yeah.
I think I may have said that. And she said, and then she explained it to me. And not only that, I had her send me like a link to something. I need an encyclopedia right now.
Yeah.
So I'm the kind of guy when you pique my interest, I'm all in. But at the time, and so it's empathy, and empathy you feel for what another person's going through. You had something to say about empath. You were going to say something about empath.
Yeah, that's a whole medicine that you have to do with yourself as an empath to be able to heal and understand why are you being such an empath. What do you have to heal from yourself so that you can properly be an empath of impact? Wow.
I like that word you say. I'm gonna come out with my new book.
Impact. That's that. You see, you told me to write a book. You remember?
Of course.
So let's just write this down right now.
You should.
That's the title of the book.
Empath impact, or impact? I don't know.
Impact of impact.
I don't even know.
Empath of
you should.
impact.
You should listen. I feel like we have to. You have to pay attention to the signs. The universe talks to you through people.
That's crazy.
Through visual, whatever.
And you know what's crazy? I was on another bus. Sorry to interrupt. I was in another bus, and then I come out of buying my sandwich, and the guy is like, now you're gonna go in that other bus. I'm like, why? And everybody that's with me on the bus is going on the bus. Yeah, I'm taking everybody but you. My route changed for some reason. You're going with this guy. I'm like, okay. So I jump into the back of the new bus because it was also full, and then he was next to me.
Yes.
I came into like half of the road.
You know it's so funny, right? Because we were waiting.
I know, right?
It's crazy, but this is the universe.
And I was the first one to come off, so like the conversation was stopped. It's like, you're stopped. I'm like, what now? Okay, like, so bye, friend.
Yeah. But I just feel like the universe makes no mistakes. You know what I mean? What we projecting in the world, you don't even know how you're gonna get it back. You don't know. It's like a boomerang.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You say words, it'll come back. You just gotta. You don't know when. That's the exciting part. You don't know.
Let me tell you, with Wicca, it says Wicca is like the root knowledge of witchcraft. Okay. Witchcraft is the way of ritualizing Wicca.
Okay.
So like working with the herbs and the rituals and the cleansing and the smudging and intentions and whatever else you're doing, which Wicca is everything that has to do with nature. So cycles of nature and how you interpret the universe and the planet working on synergy at the same time as they're working with you, and how everything connects and makes sense and goes into the same rhythm and circle and flow. So they say that whatever you put out, you receive by 3 times. So you shall do no harm or have bad intentions, because every energy that you put out, you receive back by 3 times. So with Wicca, you can do whatever you want. You can do a bad craft of something evil, but just know that you're gonna receive it back 3 times. So.
All right, let me just say this. This is.
We're going into deep magic now.
It's fine.
People, let's light this up.
Let me tell you. No, but it's all relative. I'm gonna tell you why, right? Basically what I get from that is you get what you give, right? So you get it 3 times. That's the only difference, right? I'm gonna tell you what I'm saying. If you've ever been angry, no, you're fine. We've all been angry before, right? I was around a young man I can just sense his energy was anger before I walk up to the guy. So as I walk up to that guy, I hear him talking on the phone. He's upset at the world. He's pissed off at everybody. Now the same energy continued the next day. I saw him. He's a neighbor, and I saw him again. And I think to myself, you don't know what you're drawing. Why? Because you're angry, and that's all you're projecting. That's all you're projecting is anger. Not just in your words, but in your thoughts, right? In your body, it's a poison. And you continuously, it's like you're playing in shit, but you keep playing it. You're not gonna get clean from playing in shit. It's still there. You have
That's
to
what you attract.
Get clean here and then speak here.
You get what you attract.
Yeah.
And while you're going through traffic or your day, when you keep cursing people out and the streets, every time you curse a person out, you receive a curse 3 times. So what are you doing to yourself?
I gotta say, man, I want to say this is a very important thing. See, I really believe what you're giving is your healing. You're healing. We're projecting healing. Right? We will receive blessings.
Everybody receive healing.
We will receive it because what happens is we're enlightening people. When you're enlightened, you're like, a light bulb comes on, right? The world needs more wisdom, guidance, right? This is divine. This is stuff from the divine. Okay, but you can say I believe in God, but not really believe in God.
Right.
Believing in God is not words. It's action. It's spirit. It's in you. So that's what I'm saying. So I want you to know. I want to say thank you because you're maybe not even knowing because you're just being who you are. You're sharing that gift with the world that we need. We need healing. We need more of that. And see, look, there's nothing, and I don't want to just say one thing real quick. It's sometimes we're very, very focused on what we don't know, and we think what we don't know means we're stupid or ignorant. We are ignorant, but if you allow yourself to be open-minded to learn something new, then you'll learn. But before you knew, you didn't know. That's true for everybody.
Exactly. You didn't know that you didn't know until you know that you didn't know.
You're having a ball of words. Give me some stuff. I want to ask you some questions about New York real quick, but I think this is time. This is looking like it's over. Give me something that you're working on, or that you want the world to know more of going forward about you and your artwork real quick. Give me something that you're working on. You want the people to know or look forward to.
I am changing and redesigning how I portray myself as an artist to the world, and for people to understand the capacities. So I have a few projects in mind that I'm going to work towards that goal for a visionary and for the biggest purpose, which is part of the spiritual, and it's my first and main focus and my first and main work is actually spiritual work, and spiritual work with myself and showing up for myself, showing up for my seek of knowledge, my seek of completion, we could say, as a whole. And as I do that, I also help the world become more whole. So it's large scale plans, is communicating for the masses. I would say art to communicate for the masses, and healing to communicate for the masses.
Listen, I need to ask you about your art real quick. I gauge through your work, right? Especially ones that would be more print, okay?
All right.
Okay. So I want to know where you draw your inspiration. You use an organ there that is the reproduction of life. I see it in your work. Tell me where I know you're a woman, and I'm not saying that you don't know. I wish you beautiful, because I love it.
Right.
But I want to know where that comes directly into your art, in terms of you using that as kind of a
That's a very good question. Are you ready to go deep?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
right.
All right, this is deep. My pursuit has always been very driven to feminine. For every part of our work that I do, I've always gravitated towards drawing female or empowering female. My walls were very much like you're a superhero and drawing a superhero, or trying to mold what I did to speak to my kind, which was not backed up by the category of art that I decided to embark in DR. Like tattoos, there's no tattoo girl shops, which I wanted to have. I still want to have, but things happen how they happen. And then the graffiti, which was a very masculine side, so I was breaking ground on that. And as a whole, I want to keep breaking ground into making females goddesses and realizing their goddess in them, which I actually have a project working on with Ana Yancy, which is my partner. On that, we're going to make some goddess retreats, which are for you to connect with your higher self, with your goddess, doing rituals, doing divine feminine healing, doing sacred circles, also mixing with photography and makeup, hair art, music, and just female oases kind of thing. So that's part of it, but through the visual art, then like revealing the inner magical world that we have as I see it, as I'm able to experience it, for other people to see it through my experience, which is the translation. That's exactly what we do, the translation. So I actually have visions, like, como lo podríamos decir, like psychic visions, especially when you are on deep connection with yourself. So what I see on those higher states of mind, I try to portray them into illustrations, female illustrations, which is going to be coming up in a brand that I'm going to make bags and other prints and stuff about the female part, and not just a female part because it's a portal. So I want to teach about the portal. I want to teach through image and intention and education, text, talk, whatever way it's communicated along the way, how you can really harness the energy of the goddesses in you, how to connect to the goddess that calls you, because I could be drawn to a goddess, but you could be drawn to another goddess. Like you could be drawn to a Greek goddess like Atenea, whoever could be part of your DNA and your soul. And in my case, I am called by a Yoruba goddess from Africa, which is my mother, Oshun. So everybody's gonna be called, and you know, to make the connection, to help female, to connect to the female divine, how you navigate in the world as a female divine, how you carry yourself, how you think, how you eat, how you carry yourself in general. And then with the makeup, I want to include a makeup brand and a makeup line, and all to take care of yourself. Like, I have clothing designs and brands in mind, like the whole universe of me into everything, and how that everything could be beneficial into you being better for yourself, into the world, and you know, being yourself through what I can give you, through the tools that I can give you to be yourself. Even if it's like a bright, colorful shirt that makes you feel good, or even if it's a talk or whatever I could make to translate. That's it. A brief thing of what I want to do in the next 5 years.
Let me tell you, I'm looking forward to your work, to your book, to your movie, to your podcast.
The movie I have, oh my God. I have a movie in mind too.
Just what I mean is just, you know, just your artistic expressions. That's what I'm trying to get at, you know. Whatever that is for you. Because I know you have a lot to give. It's very clear.
We don't even know yet much that it is, because I know an amount, which is already like, okay, this is a big task, let's do it.
Right.
But I'm like, when I achieve that, then I'm ready for the next big task.
100% agree. 100% agree. It goes back to something you were saying in this conversation, which is, you know, when you're going through fear, right? Keep going.
What happens if you keep going?
Right. And I feel the reason I agree with the word fear is because sometimes we don't know how big we can be, and sometimes it can be scary. Like, oh my God, am I really gonna, you know, do great at whatever it is. You know, like, you know, it's we're human.
This interview, for example.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, it's a little scary at the beginning. It's always a little scary.
Sure.
Big artists actually say if they're not a little scared before going on stage, they don't perform. Because you have to be a little scared. Because when you're scared and you break it, you advance to the next level as a performing artist of who you can be, how much people can you manage looking at you, you know? Crazy shit, I know. Told you, this has been a big jump. And
let me tell you, I mean, we can literally, and I'm going to find this out, now that I'm thinking, right?
We're going to be thinking this is going to be a 4-hour interview.
I'm going to wrap it here, but I just want to say, because we could literally do this all night.
I know.
All night long.
We should have an actual thing, as I said. We should have like a monthly thing, so that we could bring people over and talk about different stuff, because then could go so deep and so beyond, and the conversations that could be had, depending, you know, of the mixes that we do.
Listen, I'm open to the ideas. I'm definitely open to it, and I'm definitely, you know, listen, like I said, I'm inspired. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because I was inspired, and I am inspired. That's how I am.
We were both answering a calling. We were both trusting the intuition. Let's make it happen. I was leaving today, and then I had an extra day. I'm like, oh, actually, turns out I'm gonna be staying today, so we can actually make this happen.
That's awesome.
Every day is work day, and I say work, but work is just playing. So it's just playing into what you want to do.
Okay, I'm gonna stop here now. The reason I'm stopping is that I have to use the bathroom first.
Yeah, me too. I've been drinking this bottle.
This thing is empty.
So this was Beya Rodriguez for Custom Promotional Poems. I hope you have a great day.